You're listening to Gen XP. Let's play some games.
Hi friends, thanks for listening, and as a reminder, if you are not already a member, we do offer exclusive benefits to our Patreon or Gumroad supporters. You can listen in on talkback episodes between each of our game sessions, gain access to our Discord channel, and get to check out all of the art and content related to making of the show. Check us out if that sounds like your cup of tea. Patreon.com/GenXP, or you can check us out at genxpgames.gumroad.com. Previously on the Shattered World of Voar, Theric and Avo discovered the abandoned village of Pendleton and a dark and terrifying secret within its well. Before they were able to investigate further, a horde of undead swarmed the common area of Pendleton and chased both of the adventurers out of town and into the woods beyond. Pausing to catch their breath and discuss their plans, they were interrupted by a stealthy stranger carrying an odd weapon. We pick back up as the two are held at gunpoint, awaiting the arrival of the mysterious man's employer. Welcome back to the Shattered World of Voar.
You keep your spear just where it is, and things
like
will...
this?
Do you raise it up?
Yes.
Okay. From this guy, let's say this guy is directly in front of you. You're both facing him. Somewhere off to your right, you hear a person clear their throat.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear somewhere off to your left, you hear, "That won't be necessary, Devereaux." And you just see this guy just levels the gun. He hasn't moved, but he hasn't also shot you.
Okay.
Any reactions from the two of you?
Just still holding
just
my
got your
spear
spear
up
and
ready to in the throwing position, but not throwing.
Why are you pointing a metal rod at me?
He kind of chuckles. He says, it's a good question, and if you're not familiar with one of these, then I can understand why you'd ask it, but
what?
Let's just say
it doesn't look like a wand.
Not a wand. And then you hear that throat clear again, closer now. Not really clearing the throat, but you hear somebody moving through the brush towards you from the right and the left. And the left, the one that said, "That won't be necessary, Devereaux," you hear, again, that same voice. It's kind of like a rich baritone voice. I just hear, lads, calm down. I just want to have a word with you."
Speak.
I glance around. I'm like, "Oh, I mean, if you wanna take me captive, I guess. Or what do you want me to do?"
So you see a woman step out from your right. She's holding a heavy crossbow. You see she's got a hand axe on her belt. She's got a few like rings and jewelry on, and her hair's pulled back tight to her head. From the left, the person who spoke, you see a man step out. He's older human. These are all humans. He's an older human, kind of graying at the temples and along the edges of his beard and goatee that kind of form together. You see he's wearing like a nice black suit coat. He's got like a saber on his side and a big satchel on his right. He steps out and he says, "Well, we're not taking you prisoner. I just wanted to talk to you about what you saw in the village. I didn't want you to run off or..." And he points at your spear, Avo, and he says, "or react harshly."
So you point a metal tube at me?
Well, Devereaux does. Devereaux is a little bit, and he kind of like looks at Devereaux and he says, "Just put it down for right now, Devereaux." And you see Devereaux, the person who's been identified, Devereaux, that kind of heavier guy. He doesn't put it down. He just points it up in the air.
And when he does that, I turn around and point to him and I'm like, "That scares me. I don't know what that is. That doesn't scare me."
I'll rest the butt of my spear back down on the ground.
The woman had the heavy crossbow.
Right. She kind of smiles at you, and you see that she's a very lovely woman. She's missing a tooth in the front that just gives her as soon as she smiles, she goes from very lovely to very dangerous looking. That one missing tooth.
And I kind of, I'm really scared of.
So the man that's mostly been speaking kind of leans against a tree and he goes, "So what'd you find in that village?"
A lot of undead that wanted to kill us.
We did see that as they were chasing you out, but anything more interesting than that?
There's something in the well.
Man, why you just give everything away? What's it worth to you?
Well,
Or why are you interested in the village?
it's a good question.
That is a good question.
I'm a merchant, and there are some things in that village that I might have a buyer for. It's just a question of extracting them, and I lost a couple of men last night trying to get the goods out, and I was just hoping that you saw something that might be of help to me.
Want some assistance in
Well,
weeding out your opposition?
I shove him. Avo! Do we do things for free now? Is that what you're saying? We just help random people we don't know?
I wasn't saying that I was going to do it for free. I was asking if
Offering
he
assistance.
I asked him if he needed assistance.
Well, to address your concern about not knowing me, my name is Captain Fairfax, and you are?
Theric. Theric Wynn.
Nice to meet you, Theric.
Avo. Avaleth Silvergrin.
And you, Avo. Avaleth. Captain Fairfax, you've met my first mate, Devereaux, and this is my quartermaster, Hillman.
Wait, Captain?
Captain.
What are you, Captain of the tree?
Well, captain of a crew, let's say. It is interesting, though, and it could be he for the most part ignores your leading question, but he says it is interesting. If I didn't know better, I would say that fate might be intervening. I did lose 2 people yesterday, and here I find 2 new people that could fill that crew if I needed it to.
There's no such thing as coincidence.
I tend to believe that as well. I'll tell you what. I'm kind of in a quandary because normally when I run into people that live on Nova Sona, I have to handle things in a very delicate way. But I've noticed that you're just kind of running around in the middle of nowhere where I don't normally encounter people that live in Nova Sona. Why is that? Why are you out here?
Because we're explorers. Why are you out here?
Why, I've already said I'm a merchant and I'm looking to collect some goods. Explorers, you say? He looks over to his to the woman with the crossbow, Hillman. He says, "Go ahead and bring her in." She kind of nods and then walks back into the woods, away from the group, leaving you, Captain Fairfax, and Devereaux. And he says, Captain Fairfax says, "So, lads, are you looking for work?" I mean, when you say exploring, what I usually think that means is you're out looking for something of value. I mean, this is a dangerous place to just be wandering around, as you've seen. So you're clearly out here looking for something worth your time. So if you're looking for work, I might be able to help you out. If you're not looking for work, then we have to go a different direction.
I want to use insight to see if I can figure out what the different direction is.
Yeah, give me an insight check.
14? 16.
You get the impression that Captain Fairfax is offering you an opportunity on one hand, but not necessarily threatening you on the other. It's more along the lines of he has to figure out what to do with you otherwise. You're not sure what that means, but you don't read lethal intent from Captain Fairfax. You did read lethal intent from Devereaux, but not from Captain Fairfax. He doesn't seem to want to kill you.
We're talking.
I got interrupted and then I lost my train of thought. You obviously want something from the town.
True.
I personally am kind of offended by what exists in that town.
It is a bit of a vile curse, that. That's actually not what we're here for, though. That would take a bit more work.
If you can collapse so well, you could probably stop the zombies.
Well, we both want something from the town, though.
That's true.
What do? Oh, yeah.
So you want this curse to be cleared, then? You're do-gooders. Is that what you're telling me?
Do-gooders.
I say no. I want.
Around then, you see Devereaux. Like he's stopped like actively holding the blunderbuss as if he's about to point to you. He's kind of like dropped it to one hand, but you see him reach down and touch a pair of shackles on his belt, and he says, "Captain, they're not going to help us." And he looks at Devereaux and he's like, "No, not yet, Devereaux."
I say I want a job, an opportunity, and money.
You say you want a job, opportunity, and money, and about when you say I want opportunity, you both hear the creaking of wood above you. And you look up and see the hull of a ship above the tree line. And
have I ever seen an airship?
Yeah, you're from Nova Sona. There's a dock there. This is a smaller, it's not a military-sized ship. This is what you'd call a sloop. There might be...
I'm not really from Nova Sona.
No, but you've lived in the area.
That's why I was asking.
Right, yeah. You've both seen airships.
Looking up and I'm like, now that could be useful.
Captain Fairfax looks up and he says, "Boys, that's the Lonely Horizon. You asked me what I was the captain of. That would be the Lonely Horizon."
How do we get there?
Well, when you say you're looking for opportunity, I need 2 new people on my crew, and I need something out of that town. And, well, the 2 lads that I sent in there didn't come back, and I know for a fact that they're not coming back. So I do happen to have an opening on the crew. Now, when I said earlier, when I normally deal with people who live here, I have to handle them a certain way. See, the Sparrowhawk Brigade doesn't take real kindly to merchants like myself coming and recovering goods from the island.
Okay, time out. Let me just stop you there. We can't kill whatever's in that town. If we could have, you wouldn't have seen us hightailing it out of there.
And I believe you. I'm not asking you to kill what's in the town. I'm asking you to go back into the town under distraction and retrieve something for me. I'll handle the distraction. You handle the retrieval. I'll give you a space on my crew.
We got to talk about this.
Sure. And as you're stepping away, he like claps his hand on Devereaux's shoulder and he says, "What do you think, Devereaux? Will the lads decide to leave this island, see the big wide world, or are they more homebodies?" And Devereaux rattles those shackles again. He's like, "I don't think they're going to help us, Captain."
So I look at Avo and I go, "If you want to go, I can probably get in there as long as the thing is distracted and doesn't know I'm there." I mean, I didn't know I was there until I shot one of them, so...
I think it could be useful to get off this island on that crew.
Okay.
I think this opportunity is presenting itself for a reason.
Arch an eyebrow. You scare me sometimes. And then I turn around and I'm like, "What are you looking for?"
Captain Fairfax.
And I want to start walking towards the 2 of them and get close to them.
Okay. Yeah, Captain Fairfax seems comfortable around the 2 of you. Devereaux still looks a little bit aggressive. In the common hall, there's 2 things, honestly. In the common hall, the big building, you'll know. I know you know what I'm talking about. In the large building, there's a safe box behind the what used to be a bar. Should be about this big. Should have a lock on it. I want that. Need that.
The whole box?
The whole box. Yeah. If you just get that box and bring it out, it shouldn't weigh more than 10, 15 pounds. So that's one object that I need that's in this town. Aboleth, you mentioned that you'd be interested in this curse ending, and Theric, you said if the well was to collapse, that you think that might stop this. I have a way to make those things happen. It'll require a little bit more resources on my part, but there's something in the well that I could use as well based on our research. There's a black stone about this big inside the well, about 10 feet, 15 feet down maybe. If you can recover that, that would be very useful as well.
How exactly are you going to run distraction?
Well, if it's just the strong box that we're going after, here's the thing is, from a business perspective, that black thing, that black stone that I'm talking about, it'd be very valuable to have. But it's going to cost something on my part to get whatever's in the well out to let you get in there. So you tell me, how dangerous of a job are you looking for? He says, believe me, we get into all sorts of scraps, don't we, Devereaux? And he kind of claps him on the back again. And Devereaux gives you like a wry grin. He's like, nah, kind of shrugs his shoulders. He says, we get into all sorts of scraps, but I'm not trying to send two fine young men that I just met to their certain doom.
So when I got close to him, there was a meth try madness, and I reach over and I take the shackles off of Devereaux's belt.
What'd you get on your...
27.
27. Yeah, you absolutely do take a moment as he claps Devereaux on the back. Devereaux kind of moves forward. You use that distraction to just quickly, sleight of hand the shackles off of Devereaux's belt. He says, I'm not looking to send you to your death. Honestly, lads, if you don't want to join the crew, if you're not interested, I wasn't going to hurt you.
Look.
I was just going to tie you up, leave you here so that you couldn't alert the Sparrowhawk Brigade, and you'd get out of your binds eventually.
Look, and I pick up the shackles and I go, Devereaux, I think you need to wear these. I will go get the lockbox. If you want the gem, I will bring back the lockbox, and then we'll go from there.
So Devereaux, his hand shoots to his belt, and he gives you a very sour look. Like his eyebrows just drop down. He says, "Give me those back." He reaches out and snatches them. You're not going to give them back?
I just kind of hold them, and I go, finders keepers.
When you say that, Captain Fairfax says, "See, Devereaux, they're already catching on." At which point, Devereaux looks at the captain and he says, "Aye, Captain." And he looks back at you and he goes, "And we'll talk later."
And at that, I go, look, let me go around the town. I can try and come in from the other side. Get the box. When I give you guys a high sign, if I'm successful with the box, you distract the well and I'll go for the well. But I want danger pay. And I drop the shackles. I take my hempen rope off. I drop that. I then drop a bag that has some rations in it. Gotta be lightweight for this.
Here's the thing. I appreciate the bravery. Danger pay, of course. I pay all of my crew well. If we want to do both of these things, I think they have to happen at the same time. And there's two of you, and there's two things I'm looking for. So,
can you equip me with something better than this homemade spear?
I think I can handle that. You see, he looks up towards the lonely horizon above him, the ship. There's a moment, and I think that Theric, you recognize some sort of a cantrip, some sort of a mental cantrip being cast, and 10 seconds goes by, and then you hear a clattering through the branches, and Captain Fairfax reaches up and catches a scabbarded rapier. He's catches it out of midair, and he says, "Do you know how to use one of these?"
That would be useful.
He tosses it to you. It's just a standard rapier. It's in good condition with a scabbard and a shoulder harness.
Excellent. That will work nicely.
He says, "Consider that part of your payment, though." So,
I
do
feel
we
we've
have an-
already agreed.
Do we have an accord then? You're agreeing to do some work for me.
Let's hope your distraction works well.
Yeah. You going through the lockbox?
So-
You go around the long way.
When you guys say yes, we're going to work for you, he looks over to Devereaux, and Devereaux hands him a gold piece. So here's how this will play out.
You want me to go after the lockbox?
I think you have a better shot at getting the lockbox. Unless you plan on fighting your way through a horde of zombies. I figure I can sneak up to the well.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know most of the zombies will be out of town when everything starts happening. So you're going to have a moment. I'm hoping most of them. You're going to have a moment, and if you're willing to go after the well...
I'm just thinking the thing in the well wields magic.
I look at Fairfax
Captain Fairfax?
I know
Fairfax.
it tried to use it on me.
and I say, how long were you watching this for?
Well, we've been camped out since last night. So as you approached, we watched your little adventure in the town.
Okay. Well then. Yeah, I'll take the well. You take the common room. You can walk around the other side. The way I figure it, they've been watching us since we got here. I can fly to the blacksmith, sneak my way to the well. They cause a distress. You're not going to destroy the well, are you?
Only the top of it.
You really need to get. You got to get the thing out of the well if you want me to get what's in the well. There's something in the well.
Yeah. So from what we've seen, that thing doesn't really like the light of day. And he looks up and he says, "We got a few hours of that left to go. So I figure if we tear the top of that off, it'll drive it deeper into the well. The thing I need is only about 10 or 15 feet in. So."
All right. Let me get in a position.
I guess that does make more sense since you can fly.
He says, "Yeah, if you're ready to go, we'll give you, let's say, 20 minutes to get into position."
Okay.
Are the zombies still out and about?
No, they quieted down about a few minutes after you left town. Most of them went back inside a building. Some of them dug themselves back into the dirt around the town.
Well, then you need to wait, because if you hear the zombies kick up, obviously I got caught getting in a position and I'm running like a champ.
Says you want to.
I say, is there a time limit on this?
If we don't do this during the day, it's not safe to do this at night.
Tomorrow.
Oh, well, here's the problem again. We are not on great terms with the Sparrowhawk Brigade, so we can't linger on Novasona for too long. We're not really supposed to be here.
You're not.
And that's not exactly something that people won't notice
True.
from a distance.
But Avo here, he knows him. He can take care of that for
I can take care of who?
Sparrowhawk Brigade. You can talk to the Sparrowhawk Brigade for
Yeah,
him.
sure, they love me. They don't
See?
even know who I am.
See? They love him.
He says, "All right, I'm going to give you 20 minutes, and then I'm going to cause a distraction. When I cause the distraction, don't be at the well. Be near it, but not at the well."
What do I look like? I'm invisible?
I'm just letting you know. Hide nearby. I'm going to lead them south out of the village.
What's the closest I can get to the well and stay hid?
If you were on top of a building, or when you were next to that one building.
Which one?
So
I was on
your
3 buildings.
your original approach,
Yep.
following the path, you hid between the one house and the shrine. You were only like 20 feet from the well, on the ground.
Okay. That's where my destination is.
Okay. So you're going back to your first hiding place.
Yep.
Okay. And are you? He says, "I'm going to lead them south out of town."
I spin in a circle, looking for south.
Yep. So south is going to be the opposite direction. It's behind the blacksmith. So the blacksmith is the southern part of town. The common hall is the northern part of town. He's going to lead everything south, is what he says.
Okay. So the common hall is the opposite side of
where he's leading them.
Okay.
Yes, he's leading them away from the common hall. So if you wanted to circle around to the north,
Gotcha.
wait for the distraction, and then move in.
And then I could just come around the side of the common hall.
Correct.
We'll do that.
So the two of you agree, start splitting off. Captain Fairfax says, well, we'd best get in position then as well. Devereaux kind of nods, picks up his shackles.
Wait, what did you tell me about bonus pay, danger pay?
I said, of course I always pay my crew well. What we do is dangerous. That's normal pay. He whistles, and a rope ladder starts to be unfurled down from above, and he starts climbing up the rope ladder towards his ship. The two of you make your way back out of the wood line, back towards the village of Pendleton. You split at some point so that Avo can circle around to the north. Theric, you begin picking your way through. By the way, the canary is back inside the lantern.
Well, I would have put him back when I left the village. I did forget about that.
That's okay.
If I
Theric,
would've
you
had
start
to-
sneaking through the... We're a little bit past noon now. Midday. Okay, there's probably 5 hours of sunlight left. And Captain Fairfax did make a point of explaining this has to be done in the daytime. It's dangerous to be here at night. You start sneaking back across the field using the weeds and the broken fences and whatnot to make your way towards the...
Back to the broken fence, and then from the broken fence to the house.
And I think now, with the fresh perspective, seeing the tilled fields that are not growing, you realize why they're tilled. That these things are buried.
What I'm going to do, what I'm going to do this time is keep something in between me and the well at all times.
Okay, that's
As
easy
I'm
enough.
sneaking up.
There's a house that you can... That same house you can keep between you and the well.
Until I get close.
And when I'm circling the town, I'm using less sneaky and more distance. I'm just...
Okay. Yeah, there actually is... The entire town is circled by fields. Tilled fields. And a forest that kind of goes around them.
And based on what I know about the fields, I want to keep outside of the fields until I need to go.
Absolutely.
Cross.
So you fully circle the village to the north until it's the last, basically until you're the closest point you can be, and then are you going to try to get close to the common hall, or are you waiting for the distraction? It's only like 150 feet, depending on how far you can run that far, but
I'll wait on the just outside.
okay. So on the far side of
Yeah.
the field. Okay, and Theric, go ahead and give me... I won't make you make a stealth check, Avo, because you're still in the wood line.
Okay.
Theric?
10.
10, okay. You pick your way across the field. Let me just see here. Okay. You pick your way across the field. You feel, knowing what's in the dirt now, knowing what's in the ground around you, I think that the entire time you're creeping across the field, you get the impression something's watching you the entire time. The hairs on the back of your neck are constantly standing up, your heart's racing, but you manage to make it to that building with no effect. Nothing happens before you get to the building. You get there, there's a cold sweat on your back. You kind of are crouched down in the shade of the building, and the two of you wait for a few moments.
I'm just watching the well, seeing if I see the eyes pop out.
So you're kind of like peeking around the corner, keeping an eye on it. Give me a perception check.
7.
Okay. You feel so...
It's one better than the last number I rolled.
You're so wound up from sneaking back into what you know is a death trap. You know that there is death danger all around you, that you realize you're not really paying as close attention as what you're trying to. You're trying to spot something, but you're just not seeing what you're looking for. Or it's not there. You're not sure.
As long as things aren't coming off the ground, I'm good.
A few minutes after you've gotten to position, you guys took your time getting to where you needed to be. You know you had about 20 minutes. Each of you, out of the tree line to the south, sees, for the first time from a distance, the only time you've seen this so far is directly underneath it, you see a airship start to rise out of the tree line. Maybe from you, Theric, it's maybe a half mile away. For you, Avo, it's a little bit further because you're on the far side of town. But it is a sleek sailing vessel, airship. It's what you would call a sloop. You think that under normal circumstances, there might be 10, 15 people that would man this crew. It's got a double balloon above it, held inside of reinforced nets, and you know that the balloon itself is not what keeps it afloat. It is part of its navigation and flying mechanism. Airships fly using umbrelite crystal, and they're rare. But you've heard of them, you've seen them before. The ship itself is painted a dark blue, and there are white pennants that fly from it, and you can see people moving around on the deck, small forms from the distances you're at. But it rises up and then starts to bank towards the village as it flies quietly into the scene. Anything, or are you waiting for the distraction?
I will slowly start moving into the field.
Okay, so you start a slow walk into the field, trying to gauge. This is about to be what Captain Fairfax was talking about. You see Theric. You're a little bit closer. You start to see an anchor, a literal anchor, much like a seafaring vessel would have, start to descend as it's flying. It's about 100 feet up, but this anchor starts to descend as it's starting to dip down towards the town. You also see a cannon level and slide out one side of it as it starts to bank. And within a few seconds of it starting to pick up speed, you start to hear the whistle of air as this large vessel is flying through the wind, through the air, comes towards you. You see the hook at the bottom of the anchor, the barbed spur of the anchor, skims across the ground, slams into the well, and then grabs the wooden roof of the well as the ship flies past, fully ripping the wooden canopy away from the well. Immediately, that crash by itself is overshadowed by a high-pitched female scream from inside the well. Based on how far away you are, I want you to make a wisdom saving throw. I'm sorry, constitution saving throw. There. 13. You take 3 points of psychic damage as this shout just sends dust flying all over the common area, the circle of the village. As the shriek dies down, you hear this low, and you're hearing these crash, and you couldn't quite see what it did, but you hear this crash, you hear this scream. You were quite a ways away when it happened.
I did see the ship flying.
You see the ship tear something out of the middle.
I'm going to pick up speed.
You start running across the field. As you start to pick up pace and run across the field, as that shriek dies down, you see the cannon on the right side of the ship with a deep concussive blast. And a, not cannonball, but a magical expulsion of force slams down and destroys the blacksmith shop. At that point, and Theric, where you're at, zombies start pouring out of houses, popping out of the fields. They're not near you, they're not focused on you, but that ship, as it both tore up the well, shot the one building, it then banks and flies low along the ground to the south, and the zombies begin to stream out towards this thing, trying to follow this attacker. That shriek died down, and you can see the sun shining on the mouth of the well. Avo, you close the distance quickly, and within, I'd say, the next few heartbeats are at the back of the common hall, which is boarded up windows. The only place you've seen open in this entire place is the front door, so you have to circle around to the front of it, unless you go through a window or a door that you pry open.
I will slide around the side of the building.
Okay, and Theric.
Everything's going south?
Everything's going south. There's clearly, right now, nothing between you and the well.
Okay.
But you can still feel like your nerve synapse is tingling from that psychic damage.
So what I'm going to do is start looking towards the well, and as I do, I'm going to light the lantern.
Okay. Around the same time, you see, like out of the corner of your eye, you see Avo come around the corner of the common hall and head towards the front door of the building.
I will wait for a second because you said they're still moving.
They
They're
are,
going
but
the other way.
they're all south.
Exactly, but
You can see, like, both
When
of
we
you can
came in here, it took them a little bit to come out of the houses and whatnot. I wanted to make sure they were all out of
Yep,
the building.
absolutely. Give me a perception check. You're running towards the well, and you get the lantern out and light it. You light the light cantrip on the lantern.
23.
You can hear some movement still in. Not a lot. Some movement still in the common
Okay.
But
I'll go.
hall. Okay.
I need to find whatever I'm trying to get out of this.
So you
well.
lean over the edge of the well now, which is being lit. First of all, first thing you notice when you get to the edge of the well, you were never up close to it, and it was in darkness to begin with. Now it's in bright light, probably for the first time ever since it was built. You see bloody smear marks inside the well from things or people that might have been dragged down inside of the well. You're not sure from what, but you look down in the well. About 30 feet down is just inky blackness, where the light from the sun and your light just doesn't go, and it seems to stop hard there, not get dim, like it stops hard right there. But you're looking for something specific. Around the same time, Avo, you duck inside the.
I'm pulling my rapier as I duck
Okay,
inside.
your rapier comes out, and you. It's the first time in a long time, days, that you've had a well-balanced weapon in your hand, and I think there's a moment where that feeling returns. But you step into the dim room of the common hall, and you see there's a wide bar in front of you. There's destroyed tables and chairs. There's a broken cask over to the right. There's a stairway that leads up to what is probably a loft, but the stairway is partially collapsed. And as you step in, you see two zombies. One climbing out of the wreckage of the broken cask to your right, and one zombie to your left, kind of staggering away from the underneath the stairs. Looks like they were slower getting up than the rest of their fellows, but there are still two in here.
Okay.
And then there's nothing between you and the bar.
2 zombies.
Yep. So that's what you see. Back to Theric. You start scanning for what you're looking for, right? Make a perception check. Seven. With all the moss and the slime and the blood, it's difficult to see from up here. You feel like you might need to go down inside in order to get a better look. If that's something that you're interested in doing.
Okay. Well, you said that my light doesn't penetrate the darkness. So
It goes down 30 feet and then
right.
hard stops.
But I stow the lantern,
Mhm.
and then I'll go in.
Okay.
Both my hands free.
The lantern is just hung on your belt,
Yeah.
maybe, so it's still.
But I
free
turn the
to
light off.
Oh, you turn the light off. Okay.
I mean, I assume it's a magical darkness because my light isn't penetrating it.
Mhm.
So whatever, I can't see through it. It shouldn't be able to see through me. But just in case, I turn the lantern off, and I'm slowly gonna go down.
Okay. So you fly down in looking for what you're looking for. So you're looking for the black onyx stone. Okay. Give me a perception check with advantage now that you're down there on level. Avo, what are you doing right now?
Okay. 2 zombies coming out. And I see.
So there's the bar. He told you it was going to be behind the bar. The bar is straight across from you. There's a zombie about 20 feet to your left, and there's a zombie about 20 feet to your right. Starting to close in.
And the bar is straight across?
Straight ahead, yep. And you can see windows on the back of the building that are boarded over. If you needed to make a hasty exit
Boarded over.
from the outside.
Through the window.
I'll run straight through
So you dash to
and
the.
try to hop the bar.
Sure, give me an athletics check.
16.
Okay, so Theric, the last thing that you see before you jump down inside the well is Avo draw his rapier, step into the doorway, and then dart straight ahead. You jump down inside of the well, fly down 10 to 15 feet, and then what you get on your perception check. Okay, so you do see it's a black stone. It doesn't belong in this well. Everything else in here is just field stones that have been built. There's a black stone embedded in the wall.
Pull up my crowbar.
Okay, so give me a Give me an athletics check with advantage to try to dislodge this stone. But first, I need both of you to roll initiative.
Got a 6.
17.
Okay, so Theric, you can act first. Theric, you grab the crowbar, jam it into the side of the stone, and start to lever yourself, trying to get some purchase on it. What'd you get?
5.
A 5. So you're pushing on it. It's not quite coming loose. You're trying to work it a little bit. It doesn't come loose in that moment. Is there anything else? That's an action. Is there anything else, bonus action, anything else that you can do?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
As Theric, you're scrambling, trying to get this stone free inside the well. Avo, you start to race across the room, trying to be careful of your footing because there's a clutter in here, and trying to avoid the zombies. One of them does close with you before you can get to the bar. You have managed to angle away from the other one, so you're only in combat with one at the moment. Abo, the zombie that is in your way now lunges towards you. Earlier, when you were in the town, you got the impression all of them were trying to grab you, trying to hold you for some reason. This one looks more lethal intent. Its claws come at you. It's trying to slam into you. Does a 14 hit you?
It does not.
Okay, you manage to dodge aside from a heavy-handed blow that shatters a chair next to you. And back outside, in the well, you hear a voice inside of your head, Theric, a feminine voice that says,
"Cover the well. I can do so much more than you, friends. Just cover the well."
It's not trying. There's no magical push on this. You recognize it as just a simple message cantrip. A voice in your head just asking you to cover the well.
Okay. It's not my turn.
It's not your turn. But moving along in quick pace, Avo, you dodge aside a heavy-handed blow. What do you do?
Bonus action.
Okay.
I'm going to hex
Okay.
this zombie that's right on me.
All right.
With strength, giving it strength disadvantage.
Okay.
I will then draw my dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I've already done bonus action, but I can still attack with my rapier.
Drawing a dagger is a weapon interaction. You get one for free every turn.
But hex was my bonus action.
Okay. Do you still draw the dagger
Yes.
though?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you stab at the zombie with your rapier. Okay.
A 14?
That'll hit. So you lunge in, the blade slides into the creature's midsection.
For 7 piercing and 3 necrotic.
Okay. It kind of slides in with a wet sucking noise, pulls back out, leaves a little trail of ichor along the blade. It seems you've never fought these things before. You've
Right.
only seen them, really. You didn't have the advanced knowledge the way that Theric did. So you know what undead are, though, for the most part. Like, you've heard stories, there's been tales, and growing up in a church.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But firsthand knowledge, seeing this creature.
Honestly, I never made a check. Can I make a
You can
religion
make-
check?
You can make a religion check, yep. You fully, so you got a nat 20. You fully know what zombies are just as much as Theric did. You know that these creatures are not going to pay attention to even mortal wounds, that it's going to take truly just hammering them down as much as possible, doing as much physical damage to them until their body gives out. So you stab
Also,
them.
I have movement left.
You have full movement.
Okay. I want to put this zombie between me and the other
So you
zombie.
circle it.
Yes.
Yeah, you just quick footwork. You move around behind this zombie so that the other one has further to go.
Okay.
Back to Theric.
Crowbar again.
Okay.
And then, as I'm crowbarring, I say, look, you tried to kill me the last time I was in town. I'm not looking to help you.
Okay.
$18.
18. All right. 18 is great. So second round, I thought it might take you longer, but you managed to, with the crowbar, you hear this grinding mortar pop as the obsidian stone comes free of the wall and into your hand.
So that's my action.
That's your
And
action.
as I grab it, I let go of the crowbar. I'm not even trying to keep it.
All right. As you fly up and out of the well, it does take. It's going to take an attack. So let me see here.
Turnabout's fair play, I guess. I took an attack too.
Does a 16 hit?
Yes.
Okay. You see, as you fly up and out of the well, you happen to glance down and you watch this spectral white hand shoot up out of the well and grab your ankle. It's not connected in there. You take 7 points of necrotic damage. Inside the bar. Would Theric cry out at all, or are you more stoic than that?
It's necrotic, so it's cold, and it's kind of like, no, I'm good.
Okay. Inside the bar, the zombie that you've maneuvered around spins and slams his arm back, trying to slam you, not grab you. Hits an 18.
That's a hit.
Okay. That does 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you're kind of rocked to the side under the heavy hit. The other one is closed up much closer now behind its companion. You know that you have this round before you have 2 on you.
Okay.
So if you are still in combat and you don't kill one, there'll be 2 on you next round.
Gotcha.
And it is your turn. Theric, you're up. Maybe you're like 15 feet above the well, and I would imagine you probably got clear of line of sight.
I'm going towards the...
You're flying towards the common hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am going to attack.
Okay.
As soon as I got out of the wall, I started... As long as there's no zombie between me and the common hall.
No zombies between you and the common hall. That was a fumble. Okay, so your feet slip in the debris inside of the building. I had mentioned that there's like crumbled stairs over there. You're kind of next to those. Your foot slips on a board that is slick with, you hope, mud. It just kind of slips. You regain your balance, but you do feel off balance and off. Yeah, you feel off balance.
So, bonus attack.
You can take a bonus attack. This will be with disadvantage.
Better than the original one. 16.
That will hit.
For 7 piercing and... I'm sorry. Yeah, 7 piercing and 6 necrotic.
So 13 points of damage.
Yeah.
You watch as that dagger slash takes most of its midsection out. Like you open up the guts, like wet slime just pours out of this creature. You watch as its physical body has taken enough damage that it starts to crumple, but you see like a flash of like a greenish energy in its eyes, and it just stays standing. It doesn't die. Which both of you know, based on the knowledge checks that you've made, zombies are very difficult to kill. They get chances to survive even mortal wounds.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So even doing a mortal wound to one, it has a chance to survive that.
Dang. Alright. That's it for me.
Okay. And you're staying there.
I can't do... I mean... No, I'm staying there.
Okay. Theric, you can cover the distance and get just inside the door.
Okay.
So you come flying in. Flying still, right?
How far?
To, like, literally
Double? Is it going to take me a double move?
A single move will get you just inside the door. You can see the scene unfolding with a single move. You'd have your action still.
I need to
Concentration check.
backtrack. Concentration check.
Okay.
Yeah. It was 6 points of damage that
6
I took.
points. Yep.
So DC is
Is 10.
10.
Half the damage or 10. Concentration.
I'm golden. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did think of that.
So
right.
with a buzz of wings, Theric comes flying into the front of the common hall. You see off to the left 2 zombies squaring up against Avo, who is up. His back is up against the collapsed stairway.
Quick perception check. 18 to see if I can see, like, taking the scene. Any hurt, any...
One of the zombies is very badly damaged. You can see just like this trace of green kind of energy flowing around it that's keeping it alive. And again, you know, undead fortitude, it's hard to drop one. The other one hasn't been hurt yet, other than its normal...
Okay. So I know that, but if the green fortitude is keeping alive, do I know just any bit of damage might or might not push over the edge, or does it need a lot of damage?
You know that any bit of damage could push it over the edge. You also know that if you had magic of a radiant nature, that it would stop that from happening. Like if it was radiant damage, it would just die.
Okay.
And again, you see like the bar in front of you, broken chairs and tables.
I don't have radiant damage, so I am going to lift. I'm going to point my finger and I'm going to utter a quick word, and 3 bolts of purple and orange and bright colors are going to fly out of my finger. 1 towards the wounded one and 2 towards the unwounded one.
Okay.
The wounded one is going to take 4, and the unwounded one is going to take 6.
The
Force.
wounded force
damage.
damage.
Yes.
Cast magic missile.
Yes.
Okay. And what color bolts? Is
One
all of your
purple
stuff?
they're
yours
rainbow.
are multicolors. Okay.
Mine are rainbow.
Nice. Multicolored bolts.
Yep.
I like
Kind
it.
of zip around, slam into things. So the one that was very badly wounded, rocks underneath it. You watch that, again, that green spark, it stays standing. The other one takes the damage. How much was the other one?
6 points.
The other one takes 6
I
points.
picked up my dice.
Okay. The other one takes 6. It kind of like... you just see them both have been hit. One is horrifically wounded. One is a little bit wounded right now. But they're still standing. That was your movement and your action. Any bonus action? Okay. The 2 zombies then fall upon Avo, slamming in, trying to bring you down under their heavy blows. They rolled the same thing, which equals out to an 8 to hit. So you are nimbly dodging between their attacks, but it is your turn.
Okay.
And they're not acting in an intelligent fashion where they're trying to flank you. They're
Okay.
just standing, trying
That's
to slam
good.
into you.
I'm glad for that. I'm going to... I'll start out with my bonus action.
Oh, one other thing. Sorry. One other thing on their turn. Both of you hear 2 things. One, from in the central area of the village, echoing as if from inside of the well, a woman's voice, "Give it back!" And somewhere to the south, a cannon blast.
No. Nice. Alright. First, I'm going to bonus action my offhand dagger
Okay.
to the one that's
Badly
barely...
injured.
Yes.
Okay.
14
That'll hit.
for 5 points piercing, 6 points necrotic.
That one actually drops. So with that, your blade drags across its face, putting out its only remaining eye and that little green spark, and you watch that body, almost like a marionette strings cut, just collapses to the ground with a wet thump.
Cool. Then my main attack with the rapier is only going to hit a 10.
Hits.
Oh, okay.
They're not nimble creatures.
Outstanding. For 8 points of piercing and 5 points necrotic.
8 points of piercing and 5 points of necrotic. So 13.
Mm-mm.
No?
I'm sorry. Just 8 points piercing. I have not transferred my hex yet. It does
Okay.
not get that.
8 points of piercing. Okay. So you stab that one in the chest. It kind of groans and slaps at the blade as you extract it. Back to Theric. Unless you're staying there, faced off with this thing.
Yes.
Okay, Theric.
How far away am I from these guys?
20 feet.
He's behind the bar.
No.
No.
The bar's directly in front. He's over to the left near a collapsed stairway.
I
Get
fly,
it!
I fly to behind the bar.
Okay, that's 30 feet. You cover it to get behind the bar, and then there's just a collection of debris back here.
But
I'm just like nodding to you as you're doing
as
this.
I'm flying behind the bar, a little mini bolt of fire is gonna, wisp of fire is gonna appear in my hand that's like shifting purple, red, green, and I whip it at the zombie.
Okay, go ahead and give me an attack.
19.
That will hit.
2 points.
Okay, so you jump behind the bar, fire comes up, splashes across the thing's back. It kind of a little bit of its clothing like wisps into flame, but then burns away as just mildew and mold. The zombie tries to slam into you, and you start to hear in the courtyard a cracking of stone and earth churning. Just this. The zombie hits a 17.
That will hit.
That is 5 points of bludgeoning damage. You also... I need you both to make perception checks.
11.
Nat 20.
You're engaged in the throes of combat, Avo, and between the groaning of the zombie and the pumping of your own blood from the damage you've taken, you're not hearing much other than the fight. Theric, you hear that cracking and thundering in the courtyard, but then you hear a voice shouting from a distance to the south, "We're coming in hot! Get outside! We'll pick you up!" You hear that.
I don't hear that.
Right. You glance over, you see Avo just in the middle of intense combat, but it's your turn.
It's Avo's turn.
It's Avo's turn, sorry. You're right.
Using my bonus action... Actually, I just took damage. I need to make another concentration check.
Right?
So it's going to be a 10 DC.
Yep, 10 DC Constitution. I don't think so.
No. It's not going to make it.
Okay, so your hex dissipates.
So instead, I will attack and use my bonus action to attack. Or my bonus action to attack as well. Attack is a 10.
Hit.
3 points piercing.
Okay.
Bonus action is only a 9.
Hit.
Okay. For 5 points. Did I say 3 points from rapier?
Yeah.
Because it should have been 6.
Okay.
Because
Again, the dagger is what finishes it off somehow. Rapier goes in, dagger slashes across, and that zombie drops. Does not manage to maintain its form.
Thanks, Theric. Your dagger's awesome.
Any movement?
You already picked up?
No.
No, I
you
haven't
didn't?
seen it yet.
He's behind
Okay.
the bar.
Right, then I'm gonna
And
rush.
you can hear outside just this cracking of stone
Then I'm
and earth turning.
rushing through with my original intent to jump over the bar.
So you run over, jump behind the bar with Theric. Theric, it's your turn.
Okay, well, as he's rushing over, I go, "Get his way out! They're coming in!" And I look for the...
Okay. Give me a perception check.
15.
It's buried under a moldy sack, but you do find a
Okay.
lockbox.
So how much does this gem weigh?
The gem is like a pound. Well, let's say 5 pounds. The gem is 5 pounds. It's an obsidian block about this big.
I then grab this box and the closest thing for me to go through the window.
It's boarded over. The easiest way out is the door back towards the center of town. but there's a window. It's just boarded over.
Well, right, but there's also a big sound of earth.
There's something
shaking.
out there, yeah.
I mean, which way are you going? I'm not so much worried about me. I can fly up if there's an earthquake. You can't.
Boarded up window is right there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm looking
But
toward.
that's your turn. You find it. Are you going to stay there and wait your movement?
Well, I mean, can I ask him which way he's going?
Yeah, you can talk
Then
for free.
I look at the closest window and I'm going to try and just fly right through it. And use the box.
Awesome. Give me an athletics check.
19.
Nice.
You see Theric grab the box and go this way, and then just flies into the boards and smashes through the boards.
I was ready to shoulder into it, but you go, boy.
Theric, I do want to. You're going to take 2 points of bludgeoning damage from just slamming yourself through the.
Okay, so as I slam myself through the window, I fall out to the ground unconscious.
Ooh. So you watch Theric
Shit.
slam into the boards. The boards do shatter outwards, but you also see Theric and the lockbox just drop to the ground behind the common hall.
So he went out the window and fell on the outside?
Yep, looks like he knocked himself unconscious, but he did open a way for you to get out.
Okay.
So, Avo, you watch Theric go crashing into a window at the back of the building. You hear the board shatter, and then your first instinct is, I gotta get to my friend. Your attention is drawn back to the front of the building as gigantic green hands made of a strange glowing energy. And when I say gigantic, 10, 15 foot long fingers start to dig into the front of the building. You watch as that one hand just digs into the framework of the front of the building and starts to pull as the front of the building is being pulled away from the foundation. You hear cracking and shattering of the common hall and the words "Give it back."
Okay, then.
And I'm going to say because of the light coming in now, as the hands start to tear the front of the building off, you see the hull of the ship coming at a fast pace towards
Okay.
the building.
I am going to hop out the window,
Yep, you jump out the window. That's easy enough for you to do.
and I am going to put a hand on Theric,
Okay.
and I'm going to give him 5 hit points.
That's good.
Okay. So you call upon your divine power that you've
Yes.
been studying and focusing on for quite some time now, and only recently being able to harness. And Theric, you felt you remember feeling like this just like horrible bruising. You crashed to the ground and then you started to go black, but then everything back up. Your eyes flutter back. You feel like a warmth spread into your chest, and you're I'm going to say you're laying on the ground still holding the box. That was your movement and part of your movement and your action. And I will say that you do see from outside the building, you see a rope ladder being thrown off the side of the ship and starting to drag past the building.
Put my arm up.
So you'll have to run out to grab it.
Okay.
And you know that Theric's awake now, so you go racing out there. Give me an athletics check, DC 10.
I'm golden.
So you rush across the churned field where you can tell bodies clawed their way out only moments before. Jump and grab that rope as you start to drag through the field. Theric, you see Avo run and grab onto a ladder that's hanging down
How
from
fast is the ship moving?
is about 20 feet up.
I can fly to the ship.
So you grab the box. You're still holding the box. You go darting up into the air, fly up to the back of the ship, which is about level with you, and you see on the part where you actually ended up, the back of the ship is the captain's deck, and you see Captain Fairfax just kind of with his wheels steering the ship. He sees you fly up and land on it, and he says, it looks like you got what I was looking for. Good lad. He says, did your friend make it? Avo, good lad! Hold tight! And then he starts to bank away, and with that, I think Avo and Theric, you can both glance back at the wreckage in the center of town as the ground in the center of town is just kind of starting to sink down, and these long spectral arms of green energy are just starting to grab and pull buildings into this.
What's in this
Vortex.
chest that thing wants so bad?
He laughs as he starts to bank away. The rope ladder is being pulled up, not just you climbing it. You're being pulled up, and then eventually, strong hands are being offered to you, helping you onto the ship, and you guys step foot, both of you, for the first time onto the lonely horizon. And he says, I think we're going to get along just fine, Theric, but I will need both of those things, the stone and the chest, because she wouldn't be this upset about the chest. This has been Gen XP. Thanks for listening. Catch you next week.